What is up? So I just bought this. This is a 2006 Polaris Sportsman 500 EFI X2. The EFI electronic fuel injection, the X2 meaning it's a two-seater. That's what this extra thing is back here. It's got a little extra footwell, so if somebody wanted to sit on there, you can comfortably fit two people on here. Now I ran across this first thing this morning. It was about a little over 2 hours away from me. So I messaged the guy. It was supposed to just need a tune-up. It had a dead battery from sitting, and there was some other stuff on there. He was originally asking $8, had already dropped the price down to $750. And I was like, hey, well, what's your bottom dollar on it? Like, I'm interested in it, but you know, when it says it just needs a battery from sitting, I am a little skeptical in this one. So he says $650. I'm like, all right, send me your address. I'll head that way. Get there to pick it up. He's like, hey, when you turn the key, all it does is click. Now the battery's probably dead and it's probably not gonna do anything for me right now. Yeah, this battery's shot. But it's just clicking, solenoid's just clicking. Then I go to pull it. Lo and behold, locked up. All right, now I understand sometimes stuff sits for too long, it will seize up. But as I got to looking at it, this one has been sunk. I don't know if he was being honest with me. He said him and his cousins all ride it. It had been parked for a very long time, for over a year. I don't know how much truth there is to that. I pop this airbox off, which is harder to do on these X2 models. And this is what I get. Oil filters, saturated, rotted away. The way that looks, the mold, how much water's in there, and the rust on the rotors not being real thick. I'm gonna guess this thing was sunk about 4 months ago, probably the beginning of spring. This is the guesstimate. Now what I'm hoping is, maybe it's just hydrolocked. Maybe there's still water in it, and I just need to pull the plug. We're gonna try that. Worst case, maybe some Marvel Mystery Oil. Extra worst case, rebuild the top end. Possibly get into, I doubt that I'll drop a motor in this thing. I will use it for parts or something of that nature, because overall, it's not in bad shape. I didn't really mess with this. Let's see how this worked. Oh, yeah, so you got a single seat back if you want it. And then this thing, you can go down. Ah, see. Yeah, kind of latches in together. I don't want to get anything stuck. And then I believe this bed is a dump bed. This little cute little tailgate. Hey, it works good too. It's always a plus. Let's come over here. Oh, yep, dump bed on a faux wheel. That's pretty cool. I didn't understand how like almost all of these wheels are bent. But after talking with the guy, I don't know if he was truthful with me about knowing it had been sunk or not. But overall, was a pretty good deal. 200 is a deal I can't pass up on. If he wouldn't have came off the 650, I wouldn't have bought it just because it's too much. Let's see if we pull this plug if the motor will turn over. I'm gonna go ahead and get this air filter off of here too. Ooh, that's gross. What is in there? I don't know what that is. Acorn? A lot of muddy water in there. He also told me that he had multiple people wanting to come get it, but what I do is I go. Whenever you see a deal come up, you go. And the seller may or may not know the truth, but like on every deal I buy, do not ever, ever, ever take someone's word for it. We are not in that day and age anymore. People on Marketplace will screw you over so fast. They'll say, oh, it just needs the carb cleaned and it's throttle body. We'll get this plug out of here and see if it's all rusted up. Hopefully it's not the crank. There's no oil in the water. No water in the oil. Come on, we're gonna get there one day. We'll get it out of there. If I remember correctly, the fuel pumps on these ones are kind of hard to get a hold of. This one's a 2006 model, and the miles and hours weren't that bad. This thing it's been rode, but if we can get it running again, they'll clean up all right. This thing's got threads for days. Probably shouldn't use such a long socket either. Okay. Not good. I was hoping we might be hydro-locked, but if it was hydro-locked, that would be wet. There only looks to be a little bit of rust on there, so maybe if we got lucky, see if it'll turn over with no plug in it. Nope. Okay. Maybe, if we get lucky, the rust on it is only surface rust, kind of like it is right here on this end of this plug. If that's the case, Marvel Mr. Oil will probably do the trick here. Problem is I don't have any, so I'm gonna grab some here in a little bit and put it in there. Let this thing soak overnight. I have to pull the clutch cover off to be able to work it by the clutch. Not to mention, I bet you this clutch is full of water. I bet that is. Let's see. Drain this all over the shop floor. Nope. But it's been wet in there. Since this is getting towards the end of the summer, I would have assumed that everything would be dry. So, but yeah, you can see how all the grass and stuff is all the way up to the frame. And there's no mud down there. So when this got sunk, it was in deep water, not deep mud and landed in some water. Because it doesn't really look like they washed it afterwards. Maybe they did. I guess that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put that in there and wait till tomorrow, see what it does. But on the flip side, I think I actually figured out what was wrong with both of these. Well, I definitely figured out what was wrong with this one. This one was not the injector. It's the injector harness. 50 bucks from OTB Power Sports, Motorsports, I don't remember. I started messing with it yesterday, finally got this thing to fire up, purrs like a kitten. Got all these new parts coming in. Cool. So this one here, I go to start setting the TPS sensor, and this is hilarious. Make sure when you buy something, you don't just look at the pictures and you read it. Because I was getting pissed. I spent like 2 hours trying to figure out how to get the TPS sensor on here correctly, because no matter how I did it, and I had 3 different TPS sensors, that I was getting the wrong reading. Well, it turns out that there's different ways to hook up this special fancy TPS tool I bought. So you got all these different connectors for different bikes. I went ahead and bought the big pack. One goes into each one. And turns out that it's not just like black goes to ground, red to power. I looked at the picture and I hooked it up. So don't be like me. I sent that company an email. They got back to me so quickly. So if you're looking for a TPS tool, I highly recommend that one. Just read the instructions for how it goes on there. Anyway, so I finally get the TPS put on there, and I noticed a little blow-by coming through the throttle body. It's like backfiring through there, only on one cylinder. So I went and popped it off over there, and turns out one of the coil wires jacked up. So that's another thing. Don't listen to what they tell you is wrong with it, because he said all that needed was a TPS sensor, and turns out that's not true. He also told me he ordered a OEM. It's loud. He also told me he ordered an OEM TPS sensor for it, and that was also not true. So this is the TPS sensor that he gave me. See, it doesn't say Mikuni on there. The OEM ones, this one's so dirty. If you can even see it on there on this one. It says Mikuni right there though. Anyway, got the coil wire ordered from over at Brutal Parts. Solid guy, got that taken care of quickly, and I sold out all my parts to him. So if y'all need parts or anything that you saw on earlier years of this channel, he's got all that now, or at least what I hadn't sold. I have a link down below that gives y'all a discount code if you shop at the store. So now we're just waiting on parts for these two. I got to tear this down today so I can get the prop shaft out of it for that unit right there. And we're gonna go from there, see if we can get this thing A1. I think my wife might end up keeping this one. She likes the blue color of it, but she also likes the 850s red. So these may not get sold. All right, so we left the Marvel Mr. Oil in there for almost 24 hours. Now we just need to zip this off and see if we can turn this over by the clutches. And just try to go backwards with it. And this X2 footwell thing is for real in the way. This clutch cover normally comes off nice and easy. Come on. These clutches don't look like they've been underwater, which is weird. And this wasn't sealed. All right, so that just slides in down there and it just doesn't want to come off, but we got that on. So if I go forward, we get nothing. If I go backward, we got nothing. What happens if I go with a crowbar? Oh, nope. I believe this one is locked solid. Oh, did it just move? What? Now we got action. Net. There's no plug in it, so it should move pretty smooth, like it is. Now we're gonna put this plug back in and hook it up to some jumper cables. I don't know, I might hook it up. I'm gonna hook it up to some jumper cables first and turn it over a couple quick times, try to see if we can clear out some more of that Marvel Mist oil in the cylinder, because I definitely put a lot in there. Then we're gonna put the plug back in, see if she'll start, see what happens. All right, let's turn it over. Gotta press the brake. Why is it doing that? Where's the starter relay on this one? This one is a little different than all the other Polaris's. Try to jump in the starter relay. See all that shit? It's not under here. Dang, where did it put the relay on this thing? It's the weirdest spot for a relay to go. That's on the bottom of the gas tank. I don't even know if I'm showing it. Let's see. Wrench. We're gonna try to record this. Sounds like the starter might be locked up too. Make sure the pull rope actually pulls again. Doesn't recoil very well. That's for sure. That was a one-hit wonder. We're gonna try the smack trick on this one. See if it'll work. So the starter shot, the recoil's kind of iffy. I'm gonna give it a shot. So my thoughts are, since this thing's full of Marvel Mist oil in that cylinder, it's probably gonna be harder to start. I'm gonna give it my best whirl with that ghetto recoil that doesn't want to all the way recoil and see if that'll do it. But I'm gonna put the plug in there and I'm going to put some carb clean in the hole too to hopefully make this thing start up a bit easier, or start at all. I mean, it may not start at all. But at least with the recoil, I'll know, okay, is this gonna be like a full-blown project, or will it still run like it is? We're gonna take this Action Sauce, take this, we're gonna spray it down in there. And I'm going to replace this plug. Let's put a brand new plug in here. All right. New plug. New sparky plug. Don't forget to put the coil boot back on. I didn't even think to look, see if there's even gas in this thing. And it's fuel injected, but it don't run on miracles. Gas doesn't even smell bad. So this thing definitely wasn't parked for a year. All right. Then don't all y'all laugh at me at the same time. I hate recoils. Come on. We got one pull out of that. Come on. There we go. Just come back in. I will say it does feel like it's got enough compression to run. It definitely feels like it has enough compression to run. Everything sounds good. Doesn't sound like we got a stuck valve or anything. All right, this is probably a stupid ass idea, but I'm gonna do something ghetto. We're gonna wrap something around that, tie it to the Outlander, and I'm gonna drive the Outlander away. This is a stupid ass idea, but I want to hear this thing run. I don't know what worst case scenario for this is, but we're gonna do the fuck around and find out method. Oh, I love the fuck around and find out method. In theory, this should work. And you'll be able to say, I synced it on YouTube. We can start it like that. I'd hook my drill to it and just try to start it, but these aren't reverse nuts. They're not reverse thread. All right, that should be enough. All right, this might be stupid, but we're gonna give it a shot. All right, so, well, looks like we're gonna have to wait for a starter. And I'm still waiting on parts for the Sportsman 450 and still waiting on parts for that. And it's looking like nothing's gonna come in until like Monday. So that's kind of it for what we got that we can do here this week in the shop. All right, so let me know what y'all think, because we won't know till the next video. Do you think this Sportsman X2 will run or not? The 450, we should be able to wrap that up next on the next video. And same thing with the Sportsman 850. Hopefully, this one's got a lot of stuff that's new to me. I've never actually messed with one of the 850s. Honestly, I've never worked on any of these three machines. I've never worked on this 450 style. And that 500, I mean, it's the same 500 as everything else, but that's definitely built different than the regular Sportsman 500s. Thanks for watching. Be sure to tune in next week.